Good evening, everyone. We're going to call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the land acknowledgement statement. We acknowledge the ground on which we live is the traditional territory of Caldwell First Nation, of the Three Fires Confederacy, and the original people of Point Pelee and Pelee Island and its surrounding lands and waters, and that of the Huron-Wendat and Wyandot peoples. We recognize and respect the First Nations who are stewards of the land and waters of Turtle Island and who have embraced this stewardship since time immemorial. We would also like to acknowledge contributions of other nearby First Nation communities and all original people across Turtle Island. We'll now have a moment of silent reflection, followed by the playing of our national anthem. Please stand for the playing of the national anthem. Okay, if we can get an adoption of our agenda for August 13th, 2024. Councillor Breachos Bagnolo and Councillor Burns, all in favor? And that carries. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Okay. And adoption of the minutes of the special meeting of council and the regular meeting of council and closed meeting of council held July 23rd, 2024 be adopted as presented. Councillor Carrick and Councillor Reno, all in favor? And that carries. Mayor's comments. Well, we're going to start off by welcoming our new chief in the town of LaSalle, our chief designate, which is Michael Pierce. Thank you for coming and joining us at your first council meeting, and we look forward to lots of great things in the years to come. We do have your ceremony coming just in a few months in October, so we look forward to that. Welcome. Also, everyone can save the date, if you haven't already, which I'm sure anybody in this room probably has, for our second annual Last Call Before Fall. It was a huge success last year, and we're excited for it again this year. So finish out the summer at the Event Center at LaSalle Landing on September 6th and 7th, or 7th, but I did and last year. There's live music, regional wines, craft beers, premium spirits, and food trucks. Tickets will be available for purchase beginning this Friday, August 16th. They're $25 each, and those are available online. Make sure you get them as soon as possible, as we did sell out one day last year and almost two. So hopefully this year we'll see them both sell out soon. As some of you may know, our pickleball courts at the riverfront are now available. So 2 of the 4 tennis courts at Front Road have been converted into 6 pickleball courts and are now ready for play. If you haven't already been there, which I've heard they've been pretty busy since it was completed. So thank you to staff for getting that done extremely quickly. I know our residents are very happy to have that last month of summer and into the fall to enjoy those. LaSalle Night Market is next Sunday, August 25th, when it's the last of our markets that will be at the Civic Center. September's market will be at the Event Center at LaSalle Landing, and the markets are 4 to 8. All are welcome, so please come and join us. We have no public meetings or hearings, no presentations or delegations tonight, so we're going to go into our staff reports, and the first one we have is the municipal drainage billing and collection policy, and we're going to have our manager of finance, Mr. Ferraro, present. Or no, we're not. You don't look like him.
No. Mr. Ferraro's not here this evening, but the report's pretty straightforward. It's mostly for housekeeping and aligning how we bill for water. It really is going to enhance the customer service. So the main components are we're increasing if payments are overdue from 30 days to 90 days. We're going to issue invoices, which is consistent with how we issue our water bills. And then also, in addition to requesting for in-person for payment plans, that'll be able to be done and requested online. So those are the main components of the drainage policy, and we're just looking to get this approved. And I think our first billings will occur early this fall.
Thank you. Members of council? Any questions? No? I forgot to mention in opening remarks, Councillor Desjarlais is online, and Councillor or Deputy Mayor Capata is unable to join us this evening. So with that, if there's no questions or comments, we have the recommendation before you, which is the report of the Manager of Finance dated July 15th, regarding the municipal drainage collection policy be received, and that the updated municipal drainage billing collection policy be approved. Moved by Councillor Desjarlais, support by Councillor Burns. All in favor? And that carries. Item 2, we have the updated facility user group agreements for approval, and our Supervisor of Recreation, Mr. Sitchler.
Thank you, Your Worship, and good evening, members of council. So we have 2 updated facility user agreements for council approval. One is with LaSalle Minor Hockey Association, the other with Skate LaSalle. So these are just recurring agreements. They've met their expiry point, and administration has met with both user groups and internally, and we've provided the new proposed draft agreements as part of the report. So I'm available for any questions regarding the agreements or the report. Thank you.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, so the recommendations that the report of the Supervisor of Recreation dated July 24th, 2024 regarding the updated facility user agreements for Skate LaSalle and LaSalle Minor Hockey Association be received, and that council enters into new agreement with Skate LaSalle and LaSalle Minor Hockey Association effective September 1st, 2024, and authorizes the mayor and clerk to execute the agreements. Councillor Richa Spagnolo and Councillor Carrick, all in favor? And that carries. Thank you. Item 3, 2024 LaSalle Trail Contract Award. Our Manager of Engineering, Mr. Capucci.
Thank you. Mayor, members of council, this report is to approve and award the contract to Jones Group for the LaSalle Trails project. I do have a map, if we could share that onto the screen, of where the new locations will be. There's 4 different locations shown in yellow, and it's roughly, I want to say, less than 1.5 kilometers of new trail and connections that we're building, and it's pretty exciting because there's a lot of good connections between different communities that these trails will facilitate. The project has been going on for some time, and that is because there is fairly large environmental component, especially in the Brunette Trails area and the Hydro Corridor area, that will require some additional engineering and some environmental work. But we've been able to get all our approvals with the MECP and worked through those conditions that we have to follow. So in July, we finished the design and went out for tender, and we got some good competitive bids for this work. Jones Group was the lowest bid, and so we're here today to award the contract to Jones and hopefully begin this project in September. And of course, we can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Members of council, questions or comments? None?
Move the recommendation.
Okay, I can't, I'm assuming Sue doesn't, I can't see her anymore. No questions, Sue? Okay, guess not. I have just one quick question. I know it says it's going to start in September. About how long should it take to complete?
It will depend on weather, because this is all in, the weather's even worse, like, so when it gets wet, it's a lot harder to do the contract. We're hoping to complete it before the end of the year, so maybe between 40 and 50 working days. But again, weather will be a pretty large factor for this. Yep.
And according to the budget, this is kind of 2 years of budget put into one.
Correct. So the pedestrian annual safety budget for the last 2 years has been combined to complete this work. So the allocation or the amount of money in the project will, there's enough to facilitate the cost.
Okay, my last question. So where does this fall in our list of sidewalks and trails that need to be completed? Was this at the top? Were these the first ones that had to be done? And where are we going to next if you have it? If you don't, I'll ask at another date.
So these were the top, like I said earlier, especially Jonathan, Mr. Osborne's been working on this project for quite some time, and the environmental aspect just took up a lot of that time. So these were the top of our list, and I mean, we're doing a lot of trail connections here. The next locations are still to be determined, and we're hoping to bring that forward during the budget sessions, and we'll understand more of what our next plan of attack will be.
Sounds good, thank you. All right, and that was moved by Councillor Burns, support. Councillor Desjardins? Did you have something? Oh, okay, good, all in favor? Not carried. Next one is the St. Michael's Drain Major Improvement Appointment of Engineer, our Drainage Superintendent, Mr. McMillan.
Good evening, Mayor and members of Council. The report before you here is with regards to a Section 78 request through the Drainage Act that we received for a major improvement to the St. Michael's Drain back in April of 2024. After receiving the request, the required notifications were sent out to the regulating authorities, so like the Conservation Authority and OMAFRA. The request is for the potential realignment and/or enclosure of a portion of the drain to support a potential future residential development. As Council will recall, we're currently performing a major improvement and repair project on the St. Michael's Drain. And at the completion of the ongoing project, this drain will have been restored to its design capacity. So I bring that up to mention that this major improvement project that is being proposed will benefit only the requester, and therefore 100% of the construction and engineering costs will be assessed to the requester. In the event of a new development eventually being installed, it is possible that a portion of the drain will be assumed by the town, consistent with any newly developed municipal infrastructure like a street or street light, roads, things of that nature. And for this project, we are recommending the appointment of R.C. Spencer and Associates, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much. Members of Council, questions or comments? None? Okay, recommendation is that the report of the Drainage Superintendent dated July 25th, 2024 regarding a request for major improvement to the St. Michael's Drain be received, and that Council accepts the request and appoints R.C. Spencer and Associates Incorporated as the drainage engineer for the project. Moved by Councillor Reno, support by Councillor Carrick, all in favor, and that carries. Item 5, application to remove the holding zone symbol at 6140 Malden Road. Our Manager of Planning and Development, Ms. Brissett.
Thank you, and good evening, Madam Mayor and members of Council. As it was explained, the application is for a holding symbol or H removal application under file Z02-2024. The property in question is outlined in red up on the screen, and that is 6140 Malden Road. As you would notice, the property is directly along Malden Road and just to the northeast of the corner of Malden Road and O'Meara Street. Interestingly enough, this property is being joined, if you will, with the property to the south. That's directly on the corner where the plaza, as we've known previously, was located. So it's kind of part of that entire development project, if you will. So as you can see up on the screen, again, I've outlined the property here in blue this time. It is currently shown in a mixed-use 2 holding zone. And the application before us today is, of course, to remove that holding zone designation as a result of the proposed development on the site. The property is also to note, designated mixed-use corridor in the town's official plan. By removing this holding zone, it will permit the construction of a new one-story commercial building, which would consist of approximately 10,000 square feet. And just to give members of council an idea, this is a proposed sketch or site plan of the development. As you can see, it's comprising of both the subject lands and the property to the south, which currently, or which previously the plaza existed on. That's since been demolished, as you probably know if you've driven by in the area. So this is a new plan for the site, and it's currently undergoing site plan control with administration, and with each day we're nearing completion on that. So it is recommended that the bylaw to remove the holding symbol from these subject lands be adopted once the corresponding development agreement has been executed to the satisfaction of the corporation. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Members of council, Councilor Reno.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to make sure that the widening of Malden Road has been included in this plan with that big project undergoing. I just wanted to make sure that we've already gotten the properties pieces that we need.
Through you, Madam Mayor, most certainly that is definitely something that we consider when we go through a pre-consultation process with our applicants and developers. And so that'll be incorporated into the site plan agreement.
Great. Thank you.
Councilor Burns.
Okay, so we remove the holding tonight. Can applicant come in and sign an agreement with you? Is there any outstanding issues there? Because I always wanted to know, we removed the holding and it seems to me 8 months later, we signed a developer's agreement. So just for my own knowledge. Thank you.
Certainly, through you, Madam Mayor. There is definitely a bit of a process behind it. I sure hope it wouldn't take 8 months on this one. We're nearing, we're pretty close to having a complete site plan agreement. I don't see any major issues. We've reviewed studies and drawings, and I believe to this point we're quite satisfied. There might be a few minor tweaks. So tonight, what I'm bringing to you is a report to receive council support in bringing a bylaw forward. And once the agreement is signed, that's when you'll notice the bylaw appears on the council agenda. So hopefully not 8 months. I would predict much sooner than that.
Yeah.
Are there any outstanding issues? And if so, what are they?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I wouldn't say they're issues. I think they're just minor tweaks in moving little things or minor numbers. Like I said, we're extremely close. At this point, it is in a final review, like a final review over with the engineering team, just to look at the new submission that we received, I think, just last week. So, again, we have no major concerns at this time.
Those traffic studies, anything environmental that's holding this up or is done? Like you say, a couple of final tweaks, but I would like to know what those tweaks are, I guess.
So through you, Madam Mayor, just to rest assured, it is, of course, going through a site plan process, not really entirely connected to the H removal per se at this moment in time. It is, of course, connected because obviously it needs to be at a certain stage. Otherwise, we wouldn't have felt comfortable as administration bringing this report forward to you today. So I hope that just addresses your concerns.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? No. Just to clarify, the reason for the build is because of the expansion of Malden Road, is it not? They had to more or less move the location to be able to ever facilitate parking, which is why they purchased the side property?
I'm not aware of the logistics behind it, to be honest. I never really asked those questions. I think at any point in which a development process would have initiated through site plan, we would have at that point requested the extra lands along Malden Road, unless Mr. Osborne has something else to add.
Yeah, I don't know that there's quite a direct correlation between having to buy that other property to the north versus the widening of Malden Road. The widening's always been known. It's been known since 2009 or 10. So that's now new information to the owner, and I believe they've owned both those parcels for quite some time, so I don't know that there's a direct correlation there, but.
But what they're putting in is pretty similar to what was already there. It's just really adding more parking and pushing the building back. Is it the square footage much larger than what's there, was there? Because it's not there now, I shouldn't say that. Bit bigger?
Bit bigger,
Okay.
according to the consultant in the back row.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? So we have the recommendation. So the report of the manager of planning development dated July 12th regarding the request to remove the holding provisions from the property known as 6140 Malden Road be received, and that council approves the applicant's request to remove the holding zone symbol from the above noted lands, and that administration prepare a corresponding bylaw for adoption for removal of the holding provision once a required development agreement is properly executed by the corporation. Councilor Richo Spagnolo, Councilor Desjardins, all in favor, and that carries. Our consent agenda has 4 items. Does anyone want to remove any of those items and speak to it directly, or are we going to approve it all together? Nothing? Okay. Yeah.
Just one comment on the consent agenda. What we're trying to do is, as council will recall, the legislation changed around the authority for the site plan agreement, and that now rests with the Director of Planning and Development Services, as opposed to previously approvals of site plan agreement rested with council. So that was a provincial legislation that changed that responsibility. So what we're trying to do is provide a report on a semi-annual basis to update council as to what site plans have been approved administratively, so that you are aware as through that process. I don't know if this recent one for the property we just dealt with is a site plan, or is that a site plan agreement? So that will fall under this process. So again, from Councilor Burns' perspective, that will not come back to council from an agreement perspective. The bylaw will for the removal of the H, but that will appear on a subsequent report that you see here. So it's just our way of trying to keep council in the loop as to what site plans that we are approving administratively, so that as generally speaking, as site plans get approved, activities happen on site, and generally the calls will start coming in. So you have some idea as to where that is in the process and where that came from.
Thank you. Okay. So if we can get a motion to receive, Councilor Reno and Councilor Burns, all in favor? That carries. Committee matters. We just have the Essex County Council highlights for July 17th, 2024. Any questions on that? Just a motion to receive. Councilor Reno, Councilor Carrick, all in favor? That carries. Any questions or statements by council members? Councilor Reno?
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to mention I wore this heavy sweater tonight. It's really warm to wear a Canada sweater, but I wanted to congratulate LaSalle's Kylie Moss on her 5th medal. She now becomes the first Canadian swimmer to medal in 3 separate Olympics. So congratulations, Kylie. LaSalle is very proud of you.
Councilor Richo Spagnolo?
Thank you. Through you, maybe to Ms. Finaro. I had a couple residents inquire and ask, and they wanted me to ask you, will there be a municipal flag be placed at the new LaSalle Event Center? Like a few people were inquiring on that, so I said I would come back and follow up.
I'm not sure who that goes to.
That is a very good question. I believe that the flags will be erected in the plaza area where the LaSalle sign will be. If I remember the site plan correctly, there is plans to put the flags up, but they will be in the area that's under construction right now, if I recall correctly. But we can get back to you. We'll get back on an email back to you as to the exact location.
Okay, Councilor Burns?
Yes, I'd like to compliment Brian, the engineer, for the drain by my house. He's been out there several times, talking with the neighbors, handled himself very professionally, and kudos to the team that we hired that's doing the job out there. They're very professional as well. And when it's all said and done, I think those 2 pieces of land will drain properly, because they did find the 10-inch tile that was mysteriously closed in. by a developer back in the day. So thank you for their efforts and the new group that was tendered to. So nothing but kudos from our neighbors. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, statements? No? All right, there's no notices of motion. There's no closed sessions to report, so we'll go into our bylaws. We have 6 of them. They were all going to be given a first, second, and third reading and finally passed. Bylaw 8910, bylaw to authorize civil marriage solemnization services of the town of LaSalle by the clerk of delegates of the clerk. 8911, a bylaw to authorize the sale of land to Mohammed Tabib. 8912, a bylaw to stop up, close, and sell an alley system running north-south, lying east of lots 415 to 437, both inclusive, registered plan 749, and alley system running east-west, lying north of lots 411 to 412, registered plan 749 LaSalle. Bylaw 8913, a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement between Jones Group Limited and the Corporation of the Town of LaSalle for the RFTPW 24700 2024 LaSalle Trails. 8914, a bylaw to authorize the execution of an extension agreement with Rabi Osman. And 8915, a bylaw to amend bylaw number 8847, being a bylaw to establish user fees for services, activities, or the use of property. Councilor Richo Spagnolo, Councilor Carrick, all in favor? That carries. Our confirmatory bylaw is 8916, be given a first, second, and third reading and finally passed. Councilor Richo Spagnolo, Councilor Burns, all in favor? And that carries. Schedule of meetings are listed below. Thank you for our really short meeting. And I'd say coming in person, but there's no one to thank in person. So thank anyone online for joining us, and everyone enjoy your last few weeks of summer.